Hello, all my amazing artists. It is time to make a new project, and I've got Larry here to help us out because we're going to do some new lines today. So what we want to get is our materials first. I'm going to start with a white piece of paper, a black marker, and a pencil. You're going to need some crayons, and you're going to need some scissors. I'm going to put Larry over here so he doesn't get dirty. But we're going to use horizontal lines, which if you remember from our song, are the ones that go straight across. So first we have to cut our paper to make it longer. So I am going to get my scissors and I'm going to fold my paper in half, hot dog style. Make sure you're matching those edges, and I'm going to crease the edge. Now when you open it back up, you have a fold. And I'm going to take my scissors and very slowly I'm going to cut along that edge, or that fold that I just made. So you're going to cut a straight line. And now you have two long pieces of paper. So now I'm going to get a little bit of glue, or if you have tape, you can tape these together. I'm going to go ahead and use tape. And I'm just going to overlap them a little bit and put a piece of tape on there so they stay together. If you have glue, you can glue them together and just put a couple dots of glue and then make sure you hold down for 10 seconds so it stays nice and tight together. Then I'm going to flip it over so my tape is on the back. And we're going to draw a shooting star with different kinds of lines coming out from it. So to draw a star, you want to start at the very edge of this really long piece of paper. So I'm going to start at the beginning of the paper, and I'm going to use my black marker so you can see it, but I want you guys to start in pencil. So first we're going to draw our star. I'm going to start down here in this corner, and I'm going to draw a diagonal line up almost all the way to the top of your paper. And then from this point, I'm going to draw a diagonal line down, almost like I'm going to make the letter A or an upside down V. And from that point, I'm going to draw a diagonal line again. And this one comes up to this edge. And now we want a horizontal line across the star to this point. And now we just have to connect these two lines. And now you have a star. You can leave it just like this, or when you trace over it with your black marker, you can color it in with yellow crayon and make a yellow star, or color it in whatever color you'd like. But I'm going to go ahead and move on to my lines. So I am going to have us draw 6 lines today for each color of the rainbow. So all of our lines are going to be horizontal because they're going right across the page from left to right, and those are going to make horizontal lines. But our lines are different, have different names. So the first one we're going to do is we're going to do a dashed line. And again, you might want to start with pencil, but I'm going to start with my black marker. That way you can see. So at the top of my page, I'm going to make a dashed line, which all you do is you draw a short line, you pick up your pencil, and you draw another one. So now you have a dashed line, and I'm going to do that all the way to the edge of that paper. And remember, your paper is really long, so you're going to have a really long line. Next, we're going to do a curly line. So I'm going to start at the edge, and I'm going to draw loop-de-loops in my lines all the way across to the edge of the paper. Your line doesn't have to be perfect, so if some of your loops are bigger than the other, it is okay, as long as you're keeping those loops all the way through your line to the edge of the paper. All right, now I have my loop-de-loop line. We're going to do a wavy line. So I'm going to start at the edge, and I'm just going to move my marker up and down very softly to create a wavy line. And this is our third line. We might only have room for 5, and that's okay. And next, I'm going to do a zigzag line. So this is like writing the capital letter N or Z all the way across your paper. So I'm going to start here. I'm going to go down and back up, down and back up, all the way across to make that zigzag. Kind of looks like the letter W, actually. Okay, so you see how all my lines are coming to the very edge of my paper. And then our last line, because I don't think we have room for 2 more, so we'll only have 5. Our last line is going to be a dotted line. So I'm just going to make dots or circles all the way across. So kind of like how we did our dashed line, we're going to leave a space in between each one. And I'm just going to make dots all the way down to the edge of my paper. When you get done with your lines, you can go ahead and trace over your lines with your black marker or a Sharpie if you have it. So go ahead and pause the video and Sharpie or use black marker over your lines, and then we're going to go ahead and color. All right, now that our lines are all colored with black, we traced over them all with black, we're going to start coloring our picture. So like I said, you can color your star in. So I might find a yellow crayon and color my star in yellow. If you have colored pencils, you can also use colored pencils. You don't have to use crayons. And if you have markers and want to use markers, you could do that as well. Just be very careful that you don't smear the black marker. So I'm going to go ahead and add some yellow into my star. This is a good time to practice coloring inside the lines because you have those really nice black lines, and try to keep all that color inside those lines. All right, now that my star is colored in yellow, I'm going to start coloring these lines up here. And we're going to do the order of the rainbow. And so what color do we want to start with? Red. We want to start with red. And make sure some of your crayons might say violet red. And you could use that, but I want to find a true red. All right, I went ahead and found my red, and I'm going to color at the top of this line. I'm going to color red. It might go down in between these lines a little bit, and that's okay. But I'm just going to color red all the way to my edge. So that whole top row is going to be red. I can't really see. It's not showing up very well, but now that is all colored in red. And now our next color is orange. So I'm going to find an orange crayon, and I'm going to color in the next section orange. So I'm coloring in between that dashed line and the curly line. If you want, you can color in these little dots in all your loop-de-loops. You can color those in orange too, or you can leave them white. It's your project. It's up to you. And I'm going to color all the way down to the edge of my paper. Make sure you're taking your time and you're getting all those white spots so our whole paper is colored in. All right, now that we have our orange done, we're going to do yellow. So I'm going to find my yellow crayon, and I'm going to do that section yellow in between the loop-de-loop line and the wavy line. If I'm going too fast, you can always pause the video, or you can wait till I'm finished and then you can color this later. But we want to get it all colored in. All right, now that we've got our yellow done, which is really hard to see. It almost looks orange on the paper, but I've got red, orange, yellow. And now I'm going to do green. Get my green crayon, and this is kind of a light green. And I'm going to color in between the wavy line and the zigzag line. And color that in green. Okay, next we're going to do blue. So I'm going to find my blue crayon, and I'm going to do the space in between the zigzag line and my dotted lines. I'm going to color that in with blue. You want to make sure you don't go all the way to the bottom because we need to leave that space for our purple or violet. So I'm going to color all the way to the edge with my blue crayon. All right, our last row, we're going to do purple or violet. Violet and purple are the same color, but some people call it violet and some people call it purple. So you might notice on your crayon, like mine says violet, and then in parentheses it says purple. And we're going to color that very last row where our dots are, we're going to color that in purple. All the way to the edge. All right, and our project is now finished. We've got all of our colors to the edge of our paper. We've got our shooting star rainbow lines. If you want, you can color this area back here, or you can leave it like this. Now what I want you to do is take a picture of your beautiful project and post it in the media album in the lesson folder. Larry thinks you did a great job, but he can't wait to see all of your beautiful projects. Remember to say the poem over if you want to, introducing all the different lines that Larry can make. After all, he's a snake.